wanna be a spaceman, explore a distant land, as we contemplate the credible, unfold the master plan. And we say jump and they say how high, I wanna soar across the sky. A revolution is a resource, and we got enough, start it up, countdown to the scientists.
God damn! If a loud pedal song doesn't hype you up, I don't know what the hell will. But let's get into it. This is the Saturday night vlog. We had a little bit of an oil leakage issue going in, and yeah, we were tired of cleaning up oil all night, so Kyle made the executive decision to swap the motor. Thank you, Kyle, for giving me the best opportunity each night to go out there and compete at the highest level. And yeah, Kyle definitely burned the midnight oil and busted his ass, especially Pombo, Brandon, Mike. Everyone was just all hands on deck. And thank you guys so much for believing in me and doing the extra work just to give me the best opportunity as possible to go and make these upfront finishes happen. So yeah, it was I'm thankful for all these guys busting their tails every single night, day in and day out, just for me to compete and do what I love. But yeah, we had the service truck come out, yank the motor, yank out the Donut, and then we dropped in the SNS, and that was all she wrote. Fired right up. We Kyle went away, and we decided when Kyle left, we were like, yeah, let's fire it, because we wanted to make sure there was no leaks. And Kyle is very involved in Silver Dollar, and I know you're not really supposed to fire up, so we just did it when Kyle went away, and then he came back and he asked us if we fired, and we're like, maybe. But let's get into qualifying. Tonight the track was a lot more technical. Silver Dollar, you guys really turned it around. This is an absolutely beautiful establishment. The track was top tier on Saturday. This is about as good as Silver Dollar gets. It was badass. It was 2 lanes, lots of passing, lots of maneuvering, and yeah. Now we have to go out here and we got to pound it. And with Chico, the higher you enter, the more you can keep your right rear up in the grip all the way around the whole entire corner, the faster you're going to be. And there was no big holes, so it's pretty straightforward. But man, whenever you're flirting with that fine edge and being wide open, it gets a little chaotic. It's not as easy as it looks, but you just got to trust your car and have full faith in your ability to attack and keep it on the track. And whenever you do that, I feel like these laps come together. And we ended up, I believe, 9th, and same thing as last time. It put us starting 2nd in a heat race. This weekend I wasn't a quick time guy, I was a heat race winner guy, even though we didn't win this heat. But I wanted to put this in. So my first start, I noticed that the middle was really slick, and I tried to just attack all the way up on the top. And I think I just timed it right. And after watching this, I think if I would have just timed my outside start better, that probably would have been the move. Because now on this next upcoming start, I tried to do the same thing with the wide arc and pinch Stanley down, but I didn't really have the momentum or the grip because I had the posture. I had a couple things in my favor, like the posture right here, I'm going straight, and Stanley had to kick it out, but I just didn't have the straightaway grip to really perform and pull it all the way through. And Seth, good job on blocking my slider. That was a really smart decision, because if you didn't, I would have thrown a piss missile. And I tried to throw another one right here just to get in front of him, and man, he drove around it. Yeah. That was really tight and hectic, but that was good, dude. You stuck it out. And then same thing here with Tanner. I get a really good crossover. I felt like this slider should have stuck, but we just didn't have enough oomph to really perform it. And same thing, Tanner just barely squeaks by up in the grip, and I had to lift and concede the position to them. But now we were in a dire need to win the heat race, and I'm still under that impression. I got to plug away these laps, and hopefully we catch lap traffic, because whenever you get strung out like this and the top still has some amount of grip, it's really hard to catch people. And you're just barely putting pressure off of the pedal on entry and putting a little bit of pressure on the brake, and then just attacking the rest of the corner. There is barely any lifting in situations like this. And like I said for the first night qualifying, when the track's really juiced up, the same things still apply to this. Keep your hands on the wheel as calm as possible. And I'm not really doing that. And I feel like in the straightaway I'm doing that, but in the corners, man, dude, whenever you're running up against a curb at Silver Dollar and it's slick below it, and you're trying to just keep your right rear up in the grip all the way around it, and there's a little bit of bumps, the curb's slipping up in certain areas, it's it's chaotic. It's not easy. This is not for the ill-hearted. You have to be on kill every single lap, and you're flirting with going off the edge every single lap. And then especially whenever lap traffic starts to throw a wrench in it like this. When I see the lap traffic, I start licking my lips. And you can hear it in the background of my talking a little bit. I'm starting to pedal it on entry because I don't know what these guys are doing. It's like the clean air thing. You don't know what they're going to do, so you're a little timid and you don't want to blow it off in there 100%. Sometimes you do blow it off in there 100%. Like if it's an outlaw heat or something, you got to be on kill every single lap. But for this, you know, I knew that, man, the slider was deep on Seth. Sorry, Seth, for that one, dude. That one was a piss missile from about 8 years back. I had no business throwing that slider, but I did because I knew, buddy, I had to run second. And like I said with Justin, the second place is better in my hands, and so is that dash spot. So sorry for the deep slider, but, man, that's just how it goes sometimes. Now coming into the dash, we were supposed to be elected to start second, but Tanner set a very snail-pacious start, and I went at the cone, and he didn't, so I don't know how I got screwed out of this whole ordeal, but I was supposed to start fourth, had another yellow, barely drove around Tanner's right rear. He spun out. It was almost a little scary, but we started third, which I do. Same thing as the heat race. Starting on the bottom was definitely the preferred groove, but now I wanted to win it, or I wanted to run third. I was kind of content with second because I knew in the future that was going to be tough. But now I am just trying to plug and see what this car has got for the feature. Because if I blow it off, who cares? You're going to start sixth. Might as well plug the thing and just try your freaking hardest to see what this thing can take. It's a dash, dude. You have to. You got to be able to see what your car can take. I'm grabbing some wing, pushing the wing back forward, hammering the curb. And the curb is definitely a very thin piece of real estate right now. And you have to enter up on it and pound it. Like, we're getting a little tight. I'm definitely plugging it about as hard as I can in 3 and 4. 1 and 2, I probably could have plugged it a little harder because I got a little bit of yaw on it, a little oversteer. And 3 and 4, definitely a lot of understeer because we're plugging up tight, hard in it. But coming to the closing laps, I realized that I'm keeping great pace with Tanner for him having clean air and me not being able to see behind him where I can enter perfectly on the curb. So I decided to run the bottom last second. Man, we stuck that shit, dude. That's crazy. And we kind of reeled him in there in the last second. And I felt like if this was the feature, it probably would have been pretty badass. But rolling up for the feature now, starting second, and it's going to be a long, hard-fought battle. There's a lot of chaos, a lot going on, but yeah, let's get into it. Same thing as before. We got to make these starts as good as we absolutely can, and I felt like the top was a little too far around. I was trying to buzz my tires and play with the start, but now you can see I got my left rear in the grip, and I'm trying to hold Tanner down as much as I can, but it didn't really work out. The bottom was just so overpowered on the starts. I noticed that the middle was good when I stuck it around Tanner in the dash, so I tried to do it right there and just keep as much momentum around Shane's right rear as I possibly could, but Shane stuck the shit out of the bottom and put me on his right rear and put me in a position where I had to concede, and that's just how sprint car racing goes. It's turned into a little bit more motocross racing than sprint car racing has been in the past. That's why you hear all these old people, I feel like, talking about all these damn kids just wrecking people. No, it's just how racing is. Everyone is so good nowadays that you have to screw someone or put them in a screwed position and make them lift and make them contemplate their drive. And yeah, that's how you get around people. It's motocross now. You have to stuff someone going into the corner and put them in a screwed position to put yourself in an excelled position and propel yourself forward. I mean, do you want to win these races or do you want to have a picnic afterwards? I want to win these damn races, so we're going to put people in those positions. And yeah, I definitely got put in that position more often than not this race, and it definitely hurt me in the big picture. But single file restart, same thing, get that posture right. Open up your entry, get the arc right, get the car set as if you're setting it into a real corner. You want the thing to be laid a little left and be pointed down the banking. You don't want to be going up the banking. If you're going up the banking, that's slow. Sliding up the racetrack is always slow. Coming down with Mother Nature, down the banking, down the hill is the best way to attack these starts, I feel like. And that's something I have really upped from last year, I feel like. I am, as Pombo told me, I'm 3 for 3 on jumping starts this year. I've jumped a start every single time I have raced in 2025. And I know that it's not a cool stat to have, but I feel like you can always calm a driver down. You can make a driver not wreck, but you can't make a driver try and wreck and boost some confidence into him and try and wreck and put himself on the fine line. I feel like it's better to dial back from the limit and know where the limit's at. 'Cause when you break those limits, that's when you know, like, hey, that is the limit, and I got to be better next time and recall it a little bit. And after a couple recalls, I feel like you're going to be on point. So these jump starts, I'm learning from them. I'm probably going to make more mistakes in the future because I'm a little antsy in the car and I want the best position for myself. But now, I mean, it's the same thing as the dash. We are absolutely singing it off in there. And I feel like I'm logging really good laps right now. I'm a little calm behind the wheel. I know that we're catching lap traffic. I'm laying up into the cushion a little hard a couple times, but I feel like on these restarts is when I tried to overdrive it because I wanted so much. But in these long green flag runs, I was very calm and patient and waited for the race to come to me. And yeah, I definitely think I started to overcook it a little bit in the later stages of this feature, and that's what ultimately made me drop back positions. Whereas I was calm in the long green flag runs, I was amped up to make something happen and get around Shane. Like right here, I was really amped up to stick my snout where it didn't belong, and Shane had the better corner posture. And yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. Boom, now Tanner passes us just because of one mistake of me driving it in a little bit too hard, wanting more than was available for me in the given time. And then same thing right there. I drove it in, I overcooked it a little too hard, and that's just how it goes. But hey, we're in front of Tanner now. I'd rather be lucky than good any day of the week, and that's just how it goes sometimes. So Tanner was definitely bad fast this whole entire night. I knew when he slid me right there and I couldn't even cross him over, I was like, yeah, he's fast. His car has got some insane stickage to it. And same thing right here. I overcooked it a little too hard into that corner, kicked it sideways. Whenever you drive it in there wide open, you're going to kick the left rear out, and it's just not a perfect corner. I should have recalled my throttle position a little bit and been more focused on just sticking that corner right there and just carrying through as much momentum as possible instead of trying to pound it. But that's how you learn. You learn by making these mistakes and learning from them and trying not to make the same mistake twice. So I'm glad that I'm noticing these mistakes, and I'm still making the same mistakes right now. Tanner got around me, so now I'm just trying to pound it and catch back up to him. But I don't think I realized that my calmer driving style was better. I'm still in the state of pounding it and just trying to squeeze the juice of this race car as much as possible. I am trying to stand on the gas and extract as much lemonade out of this lemon as I possibly can, but sometimes that's not the move. Sometimes you don't have to absolutely pound the shit out of it. Sometimes your 95% is better than your 100% because that 95% you're making 50% less mistakes. So, and when it comes down to these races, especially 360 racing, no mistakes is better than pounding it and gaining maybe 1/10 on a lap where you pounded it, but you're making 10 mistakes your other 10 laps and you're losing 3/10 on those other laps. So I feel like the consistency rule is definitely what excels someone in these races, and that's why Tanner won. He was picking his positions really good. He would execute the bottom right there, and he would kind of put himself in a position where he wouldn't get tied up against the curb like Shane or Tanner or I would. And I feel like that's what ultimately won him this race, was his decision making behind the wheel. And right now, I'm kind of licking my lips. I know that we're getting into lap traffic. I'm not getting too tired. I'm definitely feeling it. I'm definitely breathing heavy. This is a sprint car. We're high-performance athletes sweat. And yeah, I'm totally licking my lips right now. Even just watching this, I'm like, yeah, let it race out. Let it race out, Playboy. And ooh, we got a little too plug tight. I got a little too anxious right there. I saw that this was folding into my favor. And yeah, all the guys, the top three are right there in front of me. And I know it's going to start getting dicey. Once I see Tanner and Shane mixing up their lines, that means they're having to work to get around these lap cars, and they're putting themselves up for vulnerable moves. So I know that if I log in my laps right now and I don't get messed up on the curb, that's what's going to make me catch them quicker than I would if I didn't. So I'm trying to really calm down and just log in the good laps, and hopefully I can get up to one of their bumpers and they have to make one of those last second moves. And then, boom, I'm there to pounce, and I have another position. But that's not how it worked. There was a yellow right at the perfect time right after I got laid up in the curb, and we got another chance at it. And yet again, we're on the outside. And right now, I know that the outside's not my preferred groove, so like I said, I'm getting that wide arc to the corner, and I'm trying to roll down the hill, and yeah, this gets a little tight, Shane. If you watch my shit, look at that, dude. Oh my God, I chopped you. Holy shit. But yeah, we missed it. We hit the bump and it upset the race car, and Shane snuck back around me. I think if I would have executed that right there and been able to stick my snout right in front of him, it would have been a different story. And then maybe stick the bottom like I just did there, or Shane just did. But yeah, that's not how it goes all the time. And Justin and Momo just got by me, and Momo and I are about to have the duel of the lifetime between the two of us. And it was pretty sick racing with you this close, Momo. I'm not even gonna lie. The gloves were off. We were definitely going at it, and I was trying to absolutely pound it to get around you right there. Chop your snout, try to ruin his line, ruin his momentum, but Momo, I believe, stuck the bottom, and he probably got a really good run, and he just throws a slider on me, and I knew it was coming, and right here we get a little tight. Woo! But yeah, I had to, my snout was in there. I couldn't lift. I zinged the shit out of the motor right there, but I had to put Momo in that position, and boom, ruin his momentum. I knew that he was running the bottom in 1 and 2, so now it's my time to stick the bottom and hopefully make him go to the outside and hopefully him make that mistake. And now I know that the bottom feels really good in 1 and 2. The crease is finally going away. It's definitely there. I feel like the top was definitely the move, but it's just so inconsistent. I feel like consistency always prevails in 360 racing, and when the top is this treacherous and the curb is that big and I'm making mistakes like that, it's probably better to run the smoother and more consistent line. Even though I might be faster every other lap running the top, running the consistent line is definitely what's going to prevail me to be the fastest I can be on this kind of track. Man. Sorry, I got a little carried away just watching it right there, because this is mesmerizing, just watching me pound the top like that. For those of you that don't know, this Chico track, whenever it's like this is not my strong suit. I have never been able to perform at Chico whenever the track is like this. I usually get tripped up on the curb, and I don't run it hard enough, or I run it too hard, and I'm fighting to get that happy medium. But I was really proud of myself to be able to log 35 beneficial laps, even though I lost positions, even though blah blah blah, whatever the people might say. Me personally, I am very happy with my performance of being able to conquer a Chico track where I am not the best at. And I told Michael that, like at last year's high limit race, the track was like this, and I sucked. I can't tell you what I sucked, but I sucked. And yeah, just to be able to perform and run up there with Tanner, Justin, Shane, guys who really have been running here their whole entire life. This is the furthest track away from me, so I don't get the chance to run all these local shows. So I'm extremely thankful for Kyle for giving me these opportunities to run these local shows and perfect my craft and get better at a track where I don't feel like I am my best. Yeah, it feels really good to walk away from a weekend like this and learn a lot, figure out that fine line on the big treacherous curb like that. I really like running the bottom at Chico. I feel like if the bottom were to be a little bit more competitive, the top had to have slicked off a little bit more and maybe have been a bigger curb where you can just smack it, or a slower grip lane. But yeah, hey, I felt like I learned a lot this weekend. I finished every single lap, car rolled into the trailer both nights, and at the end of the day, the big picture is if we're not wrecking race cars and we're finishing races, we're learning. You can't complain at all. So thank you so much to Kyle and everyone again for giving me this opportunity, and looking forward to getting back at it. Thank you guys for watching if you stuck around this long. Alan, I told you I was going to put it in the video.